What about this one right here?
It's sort of like Jesus walking on water, but in like a funky way.
He's dancing across the water.
Totally.
He's dancing across the drip.
I love it. Hi, my name is Harrison Tenzer, the head of contemporary art online sales here at Sotheby's, and I'm here today in front of 12 incredible Keith Haring drawings and with a very special guest.
What's going on, man? A AP Ferg. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, so these are 12 incredible drawings that he did in 1985, and they're each these really iconic images that he explored again and again in his major paintings. But also what's really cool is a lot of these were created to be put on merchandise, hats, pins, t-shirts.
Right.
And he opened up a place called the Pop Shop in Soho in 1986. It's so cool to be here with an artist, to talk about an artist, because I know that so much of your practice, your music, your community outreach is about sort of reaching a broad community of folks. And I thought maybe you could start by telling us a little bit about your background and how you got into music and became an artist.
You know, I grew up seeing his artwork in Harlem on the handball courts. He's a huge artist. I remember I got introduced to Keith Haring through a friend of mine, Bari. This is early on where, like, you know, we was kids coming up in the game, we was watching documentaries and stuff, and he put on a Keith Haring documentary, and that's how I got introduced. I want to give a special shout out to like all my artist friends that I went to art and design high school with, because they definitely also the Wands, the Carltons, the Jay West, Lays, you know what I'm saying? Because those guys literally, they watered my soil to grow me into the person I am. I wouldn't know a lot of this stuff if it wasn't for conversation going back and forth with them. Like where I'm from, there's a lot of guys that dress nice, everybody like express themselves artistically, but to be an artist and to really go above and beyond and be innovative, it was always ridiculed. So I would hang out in Soho because that's where like a lot of the art kids and the art scene was at.
So it's the same space where the Pop Shop is opening.
Yep.
You, a few years later, are making a community of yourself and sort of finding your artistic voice.
We used to go to Soho Pearl, and we used to all get Prisma markers and multi-surface paints and like our canvases and stuff like that. And then also my dad was doing silkscreen back in the days for a lot of the major artists. You know, Diddy, Loon, Rough Riders, 50 Cent, all of the guys in the music industry. And I kind of picked up the art from him. He had a store called Ferg Apparel, which is my last name, Ferg. Right. Ferg is actually my last name for Ferguson. Google me. Nah, but he brought me into this art world, taught me how to paint, how to layer paints, and you know, I graduated. I've always been into it, but he opened the world up to me, and then I started doing my own research.
Tell us a bit about how you got involved with the ASAP mob and what that means to you.
I got involved with the ASAP mob, one through Bari, the guy that I told you introduced me to Keith Haring's work in the documentary. He introduced me to like a lot of the other guys. We all knew each other. We all had a common thread of being into art, fashion, being super different. You know, people in the neighborhoods is like, oh, what you got on? You look weird, or this, that, and the third.
That's amazing. And I think so much about what Haring and his group of artistic friends were doing back in the early 80s.
We would have definitely been hanging out with Keith Haring and Basquiat and all of those guys.
You know, it's so easy to look back now and be like, well, these people were destined for success, just like looking at you and your friends. But in the moment, you just have the confidence in doing what you loved, being yourself, and that's what propels you forward.
Right. It was a scene.
Yeah.
He was so like multi-dimensional, and I feel like that's what I represent as well. Like with Instagram and just like social networking, it's like it's changing the whole art world, and I feel like he made the statement of saying it was all right, of not being super like conservative. Like he took the initiative to think more innovative and say, all right, I'm this huge artist, people know me, and I'm selling out my art shows. That doesn't, like, but what about the kids that can afford this painting that's 20,000, 60,000? We need to be able to monetize the brand and the style across the globe.
100%.
And what's the best way to do it? Put it on t-shirts, merchandise, clothes. He even painted Grace Jones, like I said, to kind of get, you know, this is for everybody.
Haring took his traditional art education. He knew all about art history. And what I love about his drawings is so many of them have these sort of energy lines.
Yeah.
And he's out every Saturday night at Paradise Garage, an incredible disco, out at the Mud Club, just living his life. And dancing and music was so important to him. And so you can't separate these works from music and being out dancing.
You could tell the music inspired the drawings and the paintings. It just signifies that he never forgot where he came from. And like, he's not trying to be something he's not. Like, everything has a thread. He's so locked into his language, and he 100%. Made us understand his language.
So who are some of your favorite artists?
I'm gonna start off with the masses. Francis Bacon. Matter of fact, Rothko is one of my favorites right now. I would have to say, of course, Picasso and Goya. Damien Hirst, KAWS, Renell Medrano, Reginald, Sylvester, Vittoria.
Yeah.
Am I going too crazy right
now?
now?
No, that's
like
awesome.
Naming everybody.
Yeah,
like,
but I love it because it's like, I love when people like artists from so many different backgrounds and eras, because you know, it's great to specialize in one category or one time, but there's so much out there.
I also love Carol Walker, what she's doing right now, the Sugar Sphinx she did.
Well, I love that you talk about Carol Walker doing a site-specific work, and just the idea that artists can put art in places that you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
So when Carol Walker put the Sugar Baby in Domino Sugar Factory, by placing her art in that context, it really makes you look at that building differently and that history.
For sure, you feel it. You feel the vibe. You feel the energy. And I feel like that's what art is. I think art is, we all a vibe. We all is vibrations. Like music is sonically a vibe, but these drawings is visually a vibe. It's a vibration that, you know, it makes us feel a certain type of way, evokes emotion.
Yeah.
So when you see the motion in a body, this takes me back to a place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A place that either I've been there before or I need to go.
It's just the connection with Keith is so strong again, because he was so about promoting other artists, because he found fame really quickly.
The community creates the art. That's really what it is. So we gotta keep, you know, water in the soil of the community to keep things growing, because you know, without the community, there would be no A AP Ferg. If I didn't come up exactly the way I came up in Harlem, literally, there will be no me. You know, this thing is gonna, you know, get bigger and better. So, like, I appreciate you having me, man.
And I appreciate you coming up here and spending an afternoon with us.
No doubt. Thank you.
Thank you so much
Appreciate
for your
you.
time.